Welcome to this edition of the Awakening Women podcast. In this episode, I wanted to chat with you quick about planting seeds. And someone that I follow on Facebook posted something about planting seeds for quarter one. And I think whether you're a business owner or this is just related to your own life goals, having quarterly goals and objectives and things you want to accomplish, I think that is a really good recipe for success. And I think visiting your goals and things that you want to create, complete, achieve, experience on a quarterly basis helps you stay on track rather than saying, what do you want for 2025? Like, what? So revisiting it quarterly is really awesome to do. And I do that with my business, and I do that often. I'm constantly assessing things and doing audits in my life. And I spend a lot of time journaling and writing things down and coming out, bringing out things that are in my unconscious or things that for new ideas, for inspiration, those types of things, writing topics. And so what I want to plant here today is, what seeds now are you planting for your future self? So this could be the first quarter of 2025. I'm not a fan of this whole new year, new you, new year resolutions. I think let's look at our lives in seasons, right? I really like the winter solstice and summer solstice and all of that. Like I've said to my daughters one day, maybe I could even still do it, is do winter solstice type of thing. I do that with a friend of mine quite often, but it's connecting with the seasons and then feeling like, okay, and what's this season of my life going to be about? So this, where we are here in Canada, we're getting into the season of winter. And with that come changes. So some of those changes are, I've noticed for myself, is I'm going to bed earlier because it's dark, it's cold out, and I naturally just want to go to sleep earlier. You feel more introspective and you want to do more reading and curling up with books, or I'm doing a lot of courses and listening to a lot of content, learning new things course-wise, and learning and expanding my mind. So that's a huge one for me. And so winter, where I am here, I know some of you say if you're in Australia, you're not in winter, but wherever you are, what season are you in? And each season brings with it a different energy. Like the spring brings more expansion and new projects and new goals, whereas winter feels more going inward, turning inward, doing self-reflection, asking yourself questions like, what do I want? What do I want next? And then planting some of those seeds. So when we're talking about planting seeds for your future self, it's about being now who you need to be in order to have the things that you want in the next year. Because the question that I ask a lot is, where do you think you're going to be this time next year if you keep doing what you've been doing up until now? And what you've been doing up until now has been ineffective. We get into this misconception, I guess, that if we're stuck, we're just staying stuck in the same place. But what's actually happening is we're going backwards, because when you're not moving forward on some level, you're going backwards. Because the thing is, where you are right now is the result of seeds you planted, say, over the last several months or maybe years, right? Right now is the reflection of who you've been being up until now. And so in order to change who you are being and what you have, you need to step into that now. So it's not, I'll do it when this, I'll do it when that, I'll do it when I have more time, more energy, more money. Those are the three top excuses we use for not making change. And so we're not planting new seeds, and we keep living the same thing over and over and over again, because we're living from circumstance of I don't have enough time, I don't have enough energy, or I'm fearful I don't have enough money, when in fact you do. And if you don't, then you need to make that your top priority, because I really believe women, we need to have our own financial resources. We need to have our own financial autonomy. You need to be able to weather the storms financially. If you hit a bad season or you end up having to accrue some debts, do you have the resources to get yourself back on your feet and get the debts paid off and work your way toward that, right? Because that's what we need to be learning. Women need to be learning this. And if you're in a relationship where, unfortunately, you're not financially empowered, then you are less likely to be able to remove yourself from the relationship. And so that's the very first thing, that's your work to do, is becoming financially empowered. So what seeds do you need to plant financially to improve your next quarter? And this can happen quicker than, we're looking at, that would be January, that's March, right? January to March. Doesn't mean that you have to wait that long to experience things. Things can turn around quite quickly. But what seeds are you planting financially to get better with your money? For me, I've had to learn a lot in the last few years about managing money because it was something I never really had to think about when I was married. And it's one of those things I never learned how to deal with all the things around owning a home and all of the different expenses that come out and juggling and managing a whole home, fully, having a single mom taking care of everything and what that actually would entail. So I had to really master and develop those skills. So I have been reading so many books, so many audiobooks, learning about financial consciousness and money management and learning to be more empowered with money and embracing an abundance mindset while also being mindful of my spending and overspending and where I need to be smarter, like all those things. I used to hate the word budget. I was like, no, the universe will provide. The universe will provide. I could just spend. Learning about, okay, so what are the things that I really value and the things that I will spend my money on that make me feel abundant, that are in line with my values? This is a big thing. And so what are the seeds that you need to plant financially? Maybe it's starting a side business, another stream of income, a different job, a pay raise, a promotion. It could be starting the business or expanding the business, whatever it is. What seeds are you planting? And then what seeds are you planting for your health now? So again, this is where, I'll start exercising and eating healthy and all those things when I have more time, more energy. When I've made the money, then I'll start taking care of myself. No, you have to start planting those seeds now, because the health that you have in the first 6 months of 2025 is going to be a result of how you're taking care of yourself now. So what seeds are you planting for your physical well-being? And then your seeds for emotional well-being. What seeds are you planting so that they can bloom over the coming months? Because it takes time and consistency and commitment, dedication, self-integrity, all of those key attributes to be the 1% woman that I've talked about, to be the woman that is not like everyone else, to be that extraordinary woman that is different than most other people. You are driven, you want more, there's more, you want to expand, you don't want to be thinking in limiting ways. And being around people who talk about things in a negative, limiting way is really suffocating for you, if you can relate. I know that is the case for me. I want to be around people who are expansive and they come up with bigger ideas. You want to get yourself into groups and around people who can think bigger, not people that are going to go, oh, well, you're doing that? That's silly, or that's a waste of time, or how are you going to make money doing that? Or don't you think you should be doing this instead? And oh, be careful with that. Like, what if you fail? You don't want to be around people like that. So that might be the seed you're planting, is you're getting into a room or you're getting mentorship with someone that can help you expand instead of contract and shrink, and your world becomes smaller. Setting boundaries with relationships. That's like, hey, I don't want to keep talking about this drudgery. I don't want to keep focusing on the negative. I don't want to talk about problems. I don't like to watch the news. That doesn't make me feel inspired. It's not about putting your head in the sand, but it is about what you put into your brain is huge. And so looking at that, what seeds are you planting for your personal growth, your evolution? So remember, what you do now is the seeds that you will sow come the first quarter, come spring. It's all going to be a culmination of what you start doing now, right now. And notice where you get into the mindset of, I'll do that when. So I'll do that when I have more time, money, energy. The 3 top excuses we make as human beings that are usually a load of bullshit. Because I know that there are some of you who are like, oh, I think mentoring with Leanne would be awesome. I listen to this podcast. I take all of her free stuff. And I think joining the program would be awesome. But I'll do it when I have more money. I'm afraid to spend my money. I'm hoarding it. I'm holding on tight to it. I don't want expansion. So I'm not actually aligned with what I say I want, right? I say I want to change the situation, but I'm not really committed to it because I'm using the excuse that I don't have the money to invest. And then that's who you're being, is that person who is in scarcity and unwilling to expand into the next level. So you will not. If you're saying I don't have enough energy, well, that's going to keep being the reason, because what I can tell you is when you start moving the energy, it creates momentum. And then you get the energy flowing, you get the energy ball rolling, and then things start to create on their own. They start to take on a new momentum of their own. So it's not doing things because you don't feel like it, or you're terrified, or you're scared, or you're in self-pity, or you're in scarcity thinking. It's, what is the next thing I need to do to blow the lid off this, like to actually move the needle forward. And of course, some of you may not be in that place, and so this might not resonate, and that's fine. I know for me, when I was at some of my lowest points, I loved hearing powerful women talk about possibility, not, oh, you're being oppressed and you're victimized and you're being trauma bonded and you're being this and you're that and you're all that. Oh, I never resonated with that. I wanted to hear women saying, get out of your shit. Get out of your head. Here's the way. This is what you need to do. I know I'm not for everyone, and I know I can rub some people the wrong way, and they take it that I'm being tough love or I'm being too harsh, but really I'm just being direct, and it's to help move you. It's what I had to learn. There's a lot of stuff out there on, oh, the poor victim, and then we get into this self-pity, and you're doing this to me, and you're hurting me, and this and that, and so what are you doing about it? You're just going to the person that's hurting you, telling them they're hurting you for 200 million times, and you keep doing it. Those are the seeds you're planting right now. You're going to keep getting that because that's what you're putting into your universal vortex, right? Here, I want more of this. I want more of that. I want more pain. I want more rejection. I want more conflict and chaos. But instead, planting seeds toward who it is you want to be is how you're going to get there. And it's doing it now, not when. So hopefully this explains it in such a way that it makes sense to you, that in order to have something different in the next quarter of 2025, you need to be planting the seeds for that now to make that change. And it's no longer waiting till you have enough blank to do it. And remember, we get into a lot of excuses around making change. And if you're ready to get the mentorship, head to the link in my show notes to schedule a next level call with me. This call is not for everyone. Working with me is not for everyone. So I like to have a chat with you to see which of my programs is the right fit for you, to see if I can even help you where you're at and if you're ready for that. And if you'd like something more of a DIY option, then you can check out my online courses in the show notes link. And one more thing is starting on December 2nd to December 2nd, 3rd, 4th, I'm doing a live version of the Relationship Clarity Bootcamp. I've run it twice, but I ran it as a recorded videos. But what I'm doing for this run is I'm doing them live in our Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. So this way you can interact while I'm live, you can ask questions and be in the room while we're in that energy of transformation. And I'll be answering questions in there. And then on Friday, I'll be doing a class on own your boundaries and how you're setting boundaries is never going to work with a destructive, narcissistic, toxic partner, and where women really get stuck with this boundary setting stuff because, I think it's valuable to do boundary setting, but there's limitations in this. And a lot of times we are doing it from the wrong place and we're not owning it. We're not standing in it. We're not embodying it. And so we are allowing people to keep trampling over them. So if you are, saying, hey, I don't like this anymore and I'm not putting up with this anymore, and then you keep putting up with it, well, that's not a boundary, right? That's just a complaint. That's just you stomping your feet. That's not a boundary. So we're going to talk more about this, doing a little intro class, and then there will be some opportunity for questions at the end as well. So what I recommend if you want to be part of that is to sign up, because I'm going to be sending reminders. So if you've already participated in the previous ones and maybe you weren't fully committed and you weren't fully in it and you want to join it again, then do so. But just make sure you register your spot, because I will be sending out reminders before the live streams I'll be doing in the group. And you're going to get a couple of extra little goodies sent to you through email once you are subscribed, but you need to be in that Facebook group. So if you want to take part in that, head to the link in the show notes and grab your seat, or you can head to leanneoten.com/clarity bootcamp. All right, that wraps up this episode, and I'll chat with you in the next one. Bye for now.